gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Pylon Season 2. And today is going to be a little different topic. We're going to be talking about players that are about to go, is what Kelly would say, sicko mode. And the other players are what I guess I said, is they're going to be our caboose players. So it's people that are on the hype train that everyone else is raving about, but we are going to decide that they're the last... the last link of the train. They're the caboose, and they're not the conductor of that train. So, we're gonna start with Sicko mode players. September 8th, 2 days before. We're filming this September 8th, 2 days before the season, 2020 season starts. So, we each got one QB, one running back, one wide receiver, and one tight end. Kickers and defense. Whatever. We're all going to start with QBs first. So, Nick, if you want to start with your QB, I'd love to hear it.
I believe that Kyler Murray will be going sicko mode this year.
Okay.
I just think he's going to improve vastly as a player. I think that the Cliff Kingsbury offense fits him perfectly. He just got DeAndre Hopkins, and he's going to have Kenyon Drake for a full season. I see him going crazy this year.
Yeah, he's got a lot of mouths to feed now. So you think he outperforms at ADP?
I do.
Okay.
I believe that he will be the third best, right behind Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson this year.
See, Dak Prescott. I'm big on Dak Prescott right now.
Yeah,
and,
I definitely see Dak being right there too.
But then again, that could be. Oh, Dak was what was he ranked last year?
2 or 3.
Yeah, no. With addition to CD Lamb, I think Dak's got to be in that talk. But Kyler Murray, if I'm drafting Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott still there, I think I want Dak just because how safe he is, though. But do you really think that boom of Kyler Murray is going to be better than Dak?
I could see Kyler Murray having an MVP season.
Okay.
So, I think...
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then yes, I'd say. But if I agree. Not MVP, but I agree with the sicko mode. Okay, I'm going to go with mine. I do believe Cam Newton's going to be a very possible nominee for this, but I had to go with Tom Brady this year. Got weapons, still getting weapons, just got Leonard Fournette, but we already know he's got Mike Evans, which, he isn't Randy Moss, but besides Randy Moss and Wes Welker and Edelman, I don't know if Brady's really had anyone that's... And Gronk. Gronk is on that list, but he's got Gronk again, so we're eliminating that. And Mike Evans isn't Randy Moss, but he's great, top 8 NFL wide receiver, just at the position, not fancy. You can argue that, whatever. But and then Leonard Fournette now just getting added. I think that's great for the team, great for Brady. I think Bruce Arians is a great coach for him. A lot of people are saying Brady's older, whatever. He's proved that wrong all the time. He's never really been like a stud fantasy quarterback. He did have a year of 50 touchdowns, I believe, but besides that, I don't think he's really been the top 5. Hey, Brady, I want him.
Last year, our first year, he was crazy for me.
Really?
Yeah, our first year he was nuts.
So back in about 2015.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think longevity is key for Brady. I think that you can't put numbers on the guy anymore. Age doesn't mean anything. And he signed at 2 years, so I think, at least this year is going to be better than the next year, or vice versa. Whatever you put it, because he could be warming up to the new team, like no practice with the team with this crazy off season. And, that's all I got to say about Brady. I think he finally has weapons. New team, he has something to prove, So I think I could see him being sicko mode for the season. So Kelly, who's your sicko mode player?
My sicko mode quarterback is Matt Ryan. I saw something the other day where in even number years he's crazy for whatever reason. Like 2016 he was the MVP, number 1 fantasy quarterback. 2018 he was the number 2 quarterback. And I don't know what he was the years before, but he's got Julio Jones, top 3 receiver in the league. Calvin Ridley, who a lot of people think will be this year's Chris Godwin. And then,
Yeah.
he's got a new running back in Todd Gurley who's got receiving ability and a brand new tight end in Hayden Hurst.
Yes.
He's got new weapons, old weapons. I'm kind of buying into the even year bias too, but he's just rock steady, and I think he'll just go off this year.
Okay, all right.
In a division where there could be a lot of shootouts too.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like the Falcons should be a great team, I feel, but they just are.
They don't have a great defense, though. Right? Their
No,
defense
we did talk about this.
Yeah, so they'll be in a lot of shootouts. I think that.
Yeah. All right. So Sicko mode running back. Nick, what do you got?
I got to rock with my boy Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think this man is going to be crazy this year. I have a lot of faith, and I have a lot of capital invested in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. My season's kind of riding on this guy. So I have faith. I think he's going to be crazy.
No, for sure. That's a good say, I think. Mine is, I guess, I'm huffing and puffing and picking Clyde, but I got Todd Gurley. New team's got to be the guy. I just think you need to get. I like the Rams, but for him, that offense is kind of, I guess you could say, toxic for him last year. I mean, he's had great years with him, obviously, but Todd, recently just promised minimum of 15 carries to 25 carries. I know nothing's guaranteed in the NFL, but that is what you want to hear in the offseason hype. So. The other thing is he's got a 1-year deal, Atlanta. Plus, I think Matt Ryan is a little bit better than Jared Goff, but same kind of build. But, again, 1-year deal with Atlanta. I think if he wants to get a long-term deal again in this league, I think he has to go berserk and just have a great season. So, go Sicko mode. But, and then the other thing is... I think he's just got better overall players around him. Like Kelly said, Hayden Hurst. I'm not saying that was probably the worst example to start with, but Julio Jones is another guy. I think it's like the three-headed monster at NFL teams seem to get compared, like how Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell was a big dual threat, and everyone started talking about these three-headed monsters of the team. I think having Matt Ryan, Ty Gurley, and Julio Jones, that's going to be one of those elite offensive teams this year. And there was a limp that was reported on the offseason about his knee, but as of late, the last couple practices they've had, it's been nothing but explosive scenes from Gurley. So that's my Sicko mode running back. So Kelly, on to you for your running back.
I got to roll with Kenyon Drake.
Yes.
The upside is too big to pass up on him. He could, I think he could, like Aaron Jones type season, except I could see him getting more yards to go with it. I just think the touchdown ceiling is out of this world for him when an offense that they can't stack the box on. And in 2 games last year, I think he had 7 touchdowns. So any game, any week, he could just blow up. Ceiling's too high to not have him as my Sicko mode guy.
I do like that. The only thing about saying 2 games of 7 touchdowns is that's such a small sample size for him. 4 touchdowns in 1 game.
He's only played 7 games with them.
Yeah, and that's the thing about being. I don't know. Obviously, he could be awesome, but for the touchdown, I know in the last video you did say something about his touchdown just going up, but having that small sample size of boom or bust weeks, and then some weeks he get 3 or 4 touchdowns, some he'd probably get 1 or 0. I don't know, but
Touchdown's a touchdown.
that's just my say on it. But I do have Tiger as my Sicko mode, so people are probably gonna think Kenny Drake's the better option. So, Nick, for your wide receiver Sicko mode of the year.
My wide receiver Sicko mode is Robert Woods.
Okay.
I think that he is being slept on so much. I think that I don't know if I want to say he's a better receiver than Cooper Kupp, but I think he's more of a security blanket. I think that every year him and Cooper Kupp are both slept on. I almost put Cooper Kupp in here too, but for what I've seen him go drafted as, I think that Robert Woods is going to outlive his ADP a lot more. So I think Robert Woods is about to go Sicko mode.
Nice. My only say on that is I do because I like that option. don't think with losing Todd Gurley and having Malcolm Brown, Darrell Henderson, and Cam Akers is like they don't have any plans for a solid running back game. So I think
but I feel
they
like
could do 2 tight end sets, but Cooper and Woods with Cook gone.
They're gonna. Oh my! Easily 100 plus targets, 120.
I like
targets.
both of them this year. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so my Sicko mode wide receiver, just drafted him in our league. Kenny Galladay led the team, led the league in touchdown receptions of 11 last year. I believe he had Stafford gone for 8 games with back injury. So hopefully he has a full, healthy Matt Stafford this year for all 16 games, and I just think that's gonna. I liked him. I had him on my team last year. I thought he was tremendous, and now do I think he outperforms ADP this year? Not necessarily, but I think he does have a lot better year overall, just with Stafford coming back. So that's my take on him. Sicko mode wide receiver, Kelly.
Michael Gallup. This Cowboys offense with the addition of Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore now getting together, I think Dak Prescott. I think he'll be a 5,000-yard passer this year. He'll play into that new contract that Jerry Jones won't give him, and I think the main beneficiary of that will be Michael Gallup. I think he'll outperform Amari Cooper this year, and he will be this year's Chris Godwin plus some.
Wow, that's a hot take.
Hot take. Well, last one we got is Sicko mode tight ends.
All right, my tight end that's going Sicko mode this year is Zach Ertz. I feel like this guy is the forgotten tight end. Everyone talks about Travis Kelce and 49ers.
Kittle.
Yeah, Kittle. I think people forget about who Zach Ertz is. The Eagles, I mean, I don't even know who the receivers are right now because Alshon Jeffrey's hurt. Is Aguilar still there?
Gone.
Yeah.
It's D Jackson like Rager.
Yeah. Isn't Rager didn't Rager just get hurt?
I am not sure about that.
I think Rager just got hurt.
Rager is a rookie. D-Jax is old.
So, I mean, I think Zach Ertz is going to be fed targets in that offense. This man is about to go sicko mode.
Nice. Well, mine, I have Hayden Hurst, and I just wrote the man next to his name. I think, you didn't really get good sample size from him again with Baltimore last year. He did probably have about, you had Nick Boyle, you had Hayden Hurst, and you had, the guy that's
Mark
up and
Andrews.
rising, Mark Andrews. So you get a small sample size. The reason I like Hayden Hurst this year is what Austin Hooper did last year. When he was on that team, he was third, he was tight end number 3 until he got hurt. And I think just the role for Hayden Hurst being there, I think he takes over. He is their guy. Dan Quinn, their coach, did say that he's the man. So I like him for us. He's going to greatly outperform his ADP this year. So I think he squeezes there at top 7 tight end. So that's my take on my tight end sicko mode. So Kelly, your last sicko mode player.
My tight end is Tyler Higbeast. Out of the Rams, those last 5 games, he averaged over 100 yards a game. Sean McVay knows what he has in that player, and him being the offensive mastermind he is will definitely find a way to keep him involved in the offense. Jared Goff, since McVay took over as his offensive coordinator, is averaging like 4,600 yards passing. And, I think Higbee will be a big part of that this year. A lot of talk of them going to more 12 sets rather than their traditional 11 sets, and Tyler Higbee will be on the field a lot more than he has been in years past.
Interesting. I think that's a great pick, though. So our Caboose players now. Essentially they're going to fail their ADP position. So, Nick, if you want to go first with your Caboose quarterback.
All right, bringing up the rear for the quarterback position will be Carson Wentz. I think that the Eagles' offense just lacks weapons, and I think that Carson Wentz struggles to stay healthy. There's no doubt that he's a talented quarterback, but I just don't see him performing to what people think he will be this year. So he's bringing up the rear.
Awesome. Well, my Caboose is Joe Burrow, okay? I get he's number 1 overall pick, but the Bengals are still bad. So I don't see him doing anything besides. There's nothing he's going to do in LSU. So I think he's going to need a couple years to develop. He does have A.J. Green with. I don't know if he's still lingering with that hamstring. But if A.J. Green comes back, you got John Ross, who might have COVID still. But you got, oh gosh, I'm going to forget his name.
Tyler Boyd.
Not Tyler Boyd. Well, as well as
Mason.
Tyler Boyd. The rookie guy. I can't think of his name. The rookie wide receiver.
Higgins?
Higgins, yes. Higgins.
Higgins.
Yeah, so I think he's got a lot of targets, but I think that's why I'm so big on Joe Mixon, is because I think Joe Burrow is just a rookie quarterback that's going to have to start out slow and check it down.
Have you heard a lot of hype about Joe Burrow in fantasy this year?
Yeah, I've heard a decent amount.
Oh, I'm kind of on the Joe Burrow hype train.
So am I.
Okay, yeah. I just think, that's why he's my caboose. He's on the hype train. He's not gonna do it.
I don't know. I think Joe Burrow's gonna be a good streamer when he plays like the Dolphins or something.
I could see a good streamer, but I don't think he finishes top 10.
I don't think anyone sees him finishing top 10.
Well, he ain't. All right, how about you want me to take a top 15? He's not being top 15.
All right.
Okay. I'll be number 14.
All right, Kelly. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Your QB caboose.
My QB caboose is Josh Allen. You know, everybody gives crap to Lamar Jackson for being a running back, but literally this dude plays quarterback and he's a better runner than he is passer. I just don't think this dude is a good quarterback. You know, when you look up his highlights and over half of them are his running highlights, you know, it's not, you know, he's never thrown for 300 yards in a game. He's got very few multi-touchdown passing games. I just don't think he's a good quarterback. But, you know, that rushing ability keeps him up there, and that's why he's being taken as high as he is.
That's sad to say. I think if you're going in a league that has... I'm a big Josh Allen fan. So, I think if you are going in a league that, you know, you're going running back heavy, wide receiver heavy, and you're like, okay, let me get this late round QB. I think if you're picking Josh Allen, I think it's a great pick. But I think it's a great pick because if he didn't have that running game, he would be awful. But that makes him be decent quarterback. Plus, with addition of Diggs, real quick, I think he does get a few 300-plus yard seasons or games.
I agree with Kelly in the fact that he's not necessarily a good quarterback, but for fantasy purposes, I think the rushing yards,
saves him.
Yeah, I think that sells him a little bit. I don't think Josh Allen is going to be worth the hype this year, though, but I think the rushing yards will save him a little bit more than just relying on the passing game.
So your caboose, Nick.
My running back, bringing up the rear, is Nick Chubb.
I almost had him.
I believe that Nick Chubb will be outphased by Kareem Hunt by the end of the season. I think that right out of the gate, Kareem Hunt's going to have a bigger role than a lot of people are expecting. I think Nick Chubb's still a good running back, but I just think that Kareem Hunt is a very capable runner just as well as he is, and I think Kareem Hunt's a way better pass catcher than Nick Chubb is. So I think that Nick Chubb is going to be bringing up the rear this season.
Yeah, I don't know about the Kareem Hunt being the guy at the end of the season because I just think they got there. You can't tell me they don't already have their game plan. But I do like the take of him being a caboose. So.
I'm actually the exact opposite on Nick Chubb. I think he's gonna have a huge year.
Huge year. You think he's gonna be better than his ADP? Let's say 11, 12 overall.
I think he's top 10.
Okay, so
really
top 10 running back, I should say.
Okay,
fair enough.
Because he should see 300 plus touches this year. You know, the new offensive coordinator Stefanski's in there. You know, I see him taking Dalvin Cook's role and Kareem Hunt getting what the backups did last year. And Nick Chubb I think will be given too many touches to fail this year.
He was getting 19 touches a game. I could be wrong about that. Or carries, carries a game. I do look at the stats last year. I'm like, okay, what were the stats when Kareem Hunt came into town? And he still did fairly well.
His touchdowns just dipped a little.
Yeah, I thought he still had a nice end of the season. So I guess you can make the case that he's going to be fine. But if he is your RB1, that does scare me, though.
I'm a Kareem Hunt believer. I'm a fan of Kareem Hunt.
Obviously. Okay, well, my caboose, moving on, is Leonard Fournette. A little obvious. Everyone probably drafted him. Here's the deal. I was on the bandwagon before the season start. I think a lot of people, including me, see his catches from last year, and he had about 76, I believe. Could be wrong on that stat. But I thought, he's the focal point of the Jaguars' offense. And then he gets traded to Tampa Bay. Ronald Jones is supposedly still the man. Eventually, Fournette will, I think, be the man in Tampa Bay, but not the man enough to have a full workload. I think Leonard Fournette has to have a volume in the full backfield to himself to be a maniac. So, with that being said, someone's going to be a pass-catching back, and you have what's his name? The rookie they had.
I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
The Buccaneers rookie.
Keyshawn Vaughn.
Keyshawn Vaughn. Okay, wasn't big on him, but I still think he's there to get a workload. So, not a good situation for Fournette. I think his floor is awful now, and I think his ceiling is like mediocre. So with him being in Tampa Bay, I can't see him getting anything more than like a bunch of goal line carries. I don't know. That's just my take on it. So Kelly, your caboose running back.
My caboose running back is Austin Eckler. He was a big beneficiary of those little wheel routes that Phillip Rivers would dump off to him, and he took one of those 90 yards to the house last year. With the little dump over the left tackle or the right tackle right into his arms was his forte. And with Tyrod Taylor, I just don't believe in this offense. Actually, I think this offense will fall flat. I don't think Eckler will see a sufficient number of carries, and I think his receiving will go down a little bit. I guess he finished his 6th last year?
Yes.
And, he's obviously being drafted a little back, so I guess everybody's kind of seeing a drop-off in him, but I just can't get behind the hype of him being a stellar option this year.
I do have a point that I think I'm kind of on the Nick Chubb. I'm opposite of you there. I think Eckler, here's the deal. If you're getting him for your RB1 or maybe your second pick, okay. I still think he's good. But, RB1, I don't like that at all. But if he's your RB2 or second pick, if you pick a wide receiver for your RB1, essentially, if you got a Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Adams, I think he's great. Just because, here's the deal. You lose Melvin Gordon, who took a ton of carries when he showed up. Now, we're hoping to see the Eckler that we saw week 1 through 4, 1 through 3. And I just think the potential, it could be through the roof. Plus, like you said, Tyrod Taylor isn't the guy. So you're saying, I don't think he's the PPR guy like he was, because I think Phillip Rivers knew how to throw to him. But I don't think, I can see him being a check down guy, Tyrod Taylor isn't that great, like you said, so they could fall off, but he's got to be the guy, to get all the touches, I think. So Keenan Allen, maybe. Maybe people are sleeping on him, but why are people sleeping on Keenan Allen but not Eckler? And that's what makes me think that Eckler is going to be the focal point of the team. So I don't know. And Justin Jackson could have a workload on the carries, but that's just my thoughts. But you could see it down. So wide receiver,
all right.
Caboose.
Amari Cooper is about to be bringing up the rear this year. Amari Cooper will very drastically underperform this year. I think that a little bit goes with being outperformed by CeeDee Lamb and what Kelly said with Michael Gallup. But I just don't. I think it comes down to a health thing. I think last year he finished very poorly. I think over the last 6 games, I think he went over 100 yards once, and he only had 1 touchdown. So I'm not a big believer in Amari Cooper this year. That's why he's bringing up the rear.
Yeah, No, my wide receiver is very similar because I think they're very boom or bust guys. As Tyreek Hill. I mean, they had a very similar year. So like they both got hurt, and they both have boom or bust. Or similar players. I'm sorry.
Oh, just
So
huge
boom,
games or
or
awful games.
like
yeah.
win or lose, that guy's costing you the game. So Tyreek Hill, I just think there's too many mouths to feed in Kansas City, and I do see a drop in like targets because of Clyde being there now. I think Damian Williams was like a pass catching. What do you guys say he's a pass catching back? Damian Williams last year.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd
he
say
was,
it's serviceable.
but I think Clyde's much more as pass catching than Damian Williams. So I think the targets go more to Clyde. I think Hill. I don't want to say drops, but he's not. I feel like he's not gonna have that many like decent games. Like, I feel like he's either gonna be. I feel like all right. I'm sorry. So he's gonna have. Normally he'll have a bunch of skyrocket games and low games. So I think he has more low games than he has skyrocket games, and that's just I just don't see him getting the workload. So Kelly, for your wide receiver, Caboose.
My Caboose wide receiver is DeAndre Hopkins.
I don't like that.
The Cardinals did not have a single receiver last year get over 110 targets, and adding another top option, I just don't see who they would take targets away to give him targets to break that plateau. So I just don't see the sheer volume that he got in Houston. He was like over 25% target share, 150 targets a year, and he was Deshaun Watson's number one guy. And now he's going into an offense where there's, I don't know, he's obviously the best option there, but you still got Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk and Andy Isabella, the little fast guys that somehow performed last year at times. But they got too many mouths to feed, I feel, for him to be that elite option that he's being taken as.
No, I got you there. Now, weird question, but this is just for yards, not catches, not touchdowns, yards. Do you think Christian Kirk has more yards than DeAndre Hopkins this year?
I don't.
Okay.
I think D-Hop will have a solid season. I just don't think it'll be what people are expecting it to be.
Yeah.
You think he's still top 10?
Barely.
Barely. Okay. So last Caboose, tight end.
We are bringing up the rear in the tight end position with Rob Gronkowski. This man is old. He's washed up. No, he's not. He's not washed up. I just think that there's too many mouths to feed. I think that Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, I think they're way up and way better than Gronk at this point in his career. I mean, he did benefit. I think he definitely did benefit from having a year off from football, letting his body heal. And he does have that connection with Tom Brady. But, I mean, I know O.J. Howard's still there. I figure he'll play some sort of role. I just think there's too many mouths to feed in this offense for Gronk to be productive. I could see him being like a touchdown guy, but I don't see him getting a lot of yards. So that's why Gronk is bringing up the rear this year.
All right. My Caboose tight end is your Sicko tight end, is Zach Ertz, okay? I think you made some good points of him being, the guy. They don't have, like, any wide receivers. So I do like him. Here's the deal. I do like him being a top 10 tight end still, but he's getting drafted 3 or 4, and I just think once you get past the first 6 tight ends, I feel like every other tight end is meaningless.
What are your top 6 tight ends?
Well, if you look, Kittle, Kelsey, Waller, Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, and Ertz. Or Ertz would be normally before Evan Ingram on an average standpoint, but
You think Darren Waller's 3?
yes. The only thing that scares me is Jason Witten, but screw that guy. So, but okay, tight ends are like the most awful thing in this league. In fantasy. I think Dallas Goedert's the only thing that fears me. I had Ertz, I believe, last year, and Goddard just taking touches and seeing him get touchdowns over Ertz is like the most frustrating thing ever when watching games. So it's just like it's a 50-50 shot if he's getting the touchdown. And it's like, oh, is that Ertz? No, it's Goddard. So I just am not a fan of watching him. And that could be how Darren Waller is. You see Jason Witten, randomly get a target, and you're like, oh, why?
I don't buy that.
You think? Well,
I think Jason Witten's too old for that.
fair enough. I mean, he's gonna get, but like I said, he's a vet. He's gonna get some random workloads. So, all right, Kelly, with your last Caboose tight end.
Jared Cook. He was super touchdown dependent last year, so that's really the only reason why.
All right.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Jared Cook's a bum.
He had like 9 touchdowns on 40 something.
Yeah, and he had 2 in like one game. I was watching.
Yeah, I want to say it was against San Fran.
San Fran, yes, that was it. So, those are our Sicko Mode players, and those are our Caboose players. Guys, we'll see you after week 1. Thank you for watching Fantasy Pylon.